Up until this point, Shepitko's use of music in the Ascent is both sparing and restrained. It has been atonal, used primarily to underscore the action on screen. However, in this scene, the music plays a more prominent role. It serves as a refrain between the first part of the film and the centerpiece. This was Shepitko's second collaboration with the composer Alfred Schnittke. She'd first worked with him on a previous film, You and I. Schnittke was a frequent collaborator with Elm Klimov, who was, of course, Shepitko's husband. Klimov first worked with Schnittke on his 1965 satire, Adventures of a Dentist. He also scored Klimov's Sport, 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 in which Shepitko has a brief cameo. Schnittke would also go on to score Klimov's troubled film about Rasputin, Agoniya. He was a close friend of both Shepitko and Klimov. In 1980, Schnittke dedicated his second string quartet to the memory of Shepitko, who died in a car accident the previous year. Like Edward Artemiev, who composed the distinctive electronic soundtracks for Tarkovsky's Solaris, Mirror, and Stalker, Schnittke was a composer who earned a living writing film music. During the 1970s, Schnittke's music was not allowed to be played in Soviet concert halls. During the 1960s, Schnittke developed what he called a polystylistic approach to composition, which was a problem for the Soviet authorities. As the term implies, Schnittke combined different musical idioms from various eras into a single work. Nevertheless, this playful approach to musical style and form loaned itself to film music. Like Shepitko and Klimov, although Schnittke encountered problems with the Soviet authorities, he was not a dissident. Solomon Volkov, who has written widely about Schnittke, has grouped the composer alongside Tarkovsky and the poet Joseph Brodsky as neither Soviet nor anti-Soviet, but in fact non-Soviet. Like Tarkovsky and Brodsky, Schnittke would ultimately emigrate to the West. He was of the same generation as Klimov and Shepitko. Schnittke was born in 1934, 4 years older than Shepitko. In many ways, he was a model student. He always came top of his class and was even the recipient of a Stalin scholarship. In terms of his career, Schnittke composed his music for the Ascent about a year after completing his piano quintet, a work which is in a similar fashion slow, dissonant, and gloomy. At the time, Schnittke's reputation was as a film composer. It wasn't until 1983, shortly after Brezhnev's death, but still 2 years before Gorbachev and Perestroika, that Schnittke's legendary Faust cantata was finally performed at the Tchaikovsky Music Hall in Moscow. In 1990, the year after the fall of the Berlin Wall and a year before the disintegration of the Soviet Union, Schnittke emigrated, settling in Hamburg, Germany. There is one aspect to Schnittke's biography that has particular relevance to the Ascent, and that is, during the early 1980s, he converted to Roman Catholicism. In 1990, just before the collapse of the Soviet Union, he was offered the Lenin Prize for one of his more religious works, the Concerto for Mixed Chorus, but Schnittke declined. Like Tarkovsky, Schnittke was religious. Schnittke suffered from ill health for much of his later years and died in 1998, aged 63.